Yeah. So basically, you're all right. You seem pretty well. You've got a good spot.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, van life when it's not raining and the sun's shining, van life is good. You know.
Van life is one of those things. When it's
cold or really wet, it's hard. It's hard,
and we'll be very, very, very relieved to get back in a house.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Or to have access to a house when you actually need one. That will be
nice.
That will be nice.
So what is it you've got somewhere you're building or working on?
Yep, got a little barn.
Yeah,
a little barn.
It's an empty barn. It's completely empty.
It's got 4 walls and a roof that almost works.
Yeah.
So the roof that almost works needs to be sorted out to be a roof that does work, and then it's got electric and water.
Right.
And a compost loo and a friendly mare. So it'll be very easy to convert into a house. And exactly how we do that will depend on a few things like money and stuff.
Yeah.
But we will convert it into a house, and then we'll see what happens at that point.
Yeah.
But the Ariège, after COVID, an awful lot of people are moving down to this particular bit of France.
Yeah, because there's a lot of land and
there's a lot of land, and it's always been rather cheap.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
and they're all thinking, oh, I'll move out of the town and get a garden.
That means actually you can play English rules in a way you usually can't in France. Usually every penny you spend on a house in France is a penny lost.
Yeah, you'll never get it back unless you live there. You're stuck.
Because the properties never go up in value.
No.
But for this brief moment in time, Ariège, that isn't true.
Yeah.
So
if you do renovate a building, you're not just throwing money away.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. There are so many English here.
Yeah,
who have huge problems of integrating.
Yeah. Which is quite mad.
So they've all come.
Yeah, there's loads of English people.
And they don't speak any French at all.
Post Brexit.
I'm terribly excited, by the way. Well, I learned about the subjunctive about 3 days ago, and I haven't recovered. The subjunctive tells me all about. Thing is, I spent all my 30s and 20s trying to understand French philosophy, and because I didn't understand the subjunctive very well, I didn't understand the distinctions that were being made, and now I've understood them.
Yeah, well, that's great.
I might as well.
Yeah. What I've understood is that the French philosophers are actually very funny in sort of conversational language. It's the way they're translated that makes them seem sort of obscure.
And they're also very naughty with the language. They're pulling it, and it's all written in the subjunctive. So the subjunctive is, if you have a sentence like, I do not believe that he will come. The he will come there would be in the subjunctive. It is in English, actually. It's ever such a slightly different way we say it. But in the French, wouldn't be vient, it'd be vienne. And that would be because you don't think he will come. So it's got its own tense. So something subsidiary to somebody else's belief has its own tense. So if you don't have God, the entire world moves into the subjunctive because you lack an author. And the French philosophers are all written in the subjunctive. They write it in the tense that doesn't really exist in English, which is amazing. And once you get the hang of that, it explains the difference between pouvoir and puissant and all kinds of things. It's great. But don't get me on. I go on forever. So you probably want to stop me now. But I'm terribly, terribly excited about the subjunctive.
Right. No, that almost perfect. It's got to be the case if you get into the language that the excuse me, the books are going to be more interesting.
But it also allows me to do something that I didn't have, which is that I didn't have enough complicated French to have proper good complicated thoughts in French. So I have to think in English. But now, for instance, so I'll give you another example. So the French have two ways. So être, the verb to be, just be two il est. Okay, that's the normal one. But the subjunctive one would be je sois, tu sois, il soit, nous soyons, vous soyez, il soit. And that would be I am, but I'm not quite sure that I exist. So God is subjunctive.
Right, okay.
And the place you would see it in England would be hallowed be thy name. Because it's not hallowed is your name, it's hallowed be thy name.
Right.
Be there is subjunctive.
Yeah.
And once you then you start to see it actually all over the place in England, because actually that it be's we do use, but we absolutely don't know that we've got both is and be has a slightly different feeling to is.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyway. B has got a wishfulness about it.
Yeah.
And that's the subjunctive.
Right.
But the French, you can do it for any single verb. You can add a kind of a wisp. So in French, as opposed to saying il fait beau, you can say il fait beau. And that would mean, as opposed to knowing it's going to be really nice, you might be going, well, it might be really nice. There's an ambivalence on it. I hope it's not. Which allows you to, or something might happen so it's no longer nice, or something like that. So it allows a lot of subtlety on the thought. Anyway, very excited about